Look at the playoff picture shows Miami, the Jets, Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh on the outside looking in. The Dolphins, with a win today, clinch the AFC East Championship. Back with the kickoff right after this. Back at Pro Player Stadium, Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan, and there is the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Jim Mora, whose team thrashed the Buffalo Bills on Monday night. On the other side of the field is Dave Wannstedt, whose club comes off of a very tough game against the Tampa Bay Bucks in a driving range a week ago. The Dolphins have won the toss and they've elected to receive. Deep are number 21, Autry Denson, and number 38, Kevin Williams. Remember this time of year as a player, Phil?
Yes, I do, Greg, and it's the one thing we found out yesterday and today. If a team needs a victory, they're not getting it. It's really been a tough weekend for all the favorites in the NFL again. So that's what I think that's why both these teams last night and yesterday, we talked to them. They're excited. They know if you win, you can just put yourself in such good position, get in the playoffs, because nobody knows what's going to happen in the playoffs.
Danny Kite to kick for the Colts. Booms it off the tee. And this will sail out of the end zone. And the Dolphins will start from their own 20-yard line. Quarterback by Jay Fiedler, 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 4 of those picks last week against Tampa Bay. Has a torn rotator cuff in his left shoulder. He was in bad shape Monday and Tuesday, but took the majority of the snaps Thursday and Friday, and he starts today.
We saw Jay Fiedler practice on Friday. I did not think he looked very crisp, but today, warming up, he looked much better, threw the ball with authority, looked like he had some freedom in that left shoulder, so I'm sure the Dolphins, they rubbed some Bengay on that thing before he came out today, and it really helped.
Lamar Smith, the lone back behind Fiedler on first down. Fiedler to throw on the slant. It is behind his intended receiver, Rob Conrad. In the backfield among the receivers, Oronde Gadsden, whose touchdown catch with 1:10 to play beat the Colts in Indianapolis 3 weeks ago.
Well, Miami comes out with a pass. There's Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, trying to get Jay Fiedler off to a good start with a simple throw, but he missed it.
Lamar Smith tries the left side and has a yard, maybe a yard and a half on the play. We'll call it 2. It's 3rd and 8. On the Indianapolis defensive line, rookie tackle Josh Williams battling a bad ankle. Veteran Bernard Whittington starts in his place.
And the linebackers, Mike Peterson, number 52, making a lot of tackles for that Colt defense.
In the secondary, second-year cornerback Mustafa Muhammad, installed as a starter last week, responded with a 40-yard interception return for a touchdown against Buffalo.
There's Vic Fangio, been very creative with this defense the last couple of weeks. I expect him to try to give Jay Fiedler a lot of different looks today.
From the shotgun, Fiedler, the screen for Denson. Denson across the 30 for a first down.
Well, Jay Fiedler got hit, and it almost looked like he was going to run off the field there for a second. Watch it. Takes the hit, and when he gets up, look at him protect his left arm as he goes down. Mark Thomas, number 90, hit him, but a nice call by Chan Gailey. The Colts defense being aggressive, getting up the field. The screen really worked, and watch him hold that left arm.
Smith and Conrad in the backfield again on first down. Smith with a blocker in front of him. Out to about the 34.5, maybe the 35-yard line. We'll call it a 4-yard pickup, and it'll be 2nd and 6.
Watch Jay Fiedler. Remember, it's his left rotator cuff. Here he comes back, a left-handed handoff, and he puts it in his right hand and does it backwards. And, you know, he did a good job. I saw him working hard on that in practice Friday, but it just gives the chance for a fumble. It greatens it probably about twice by handing it off with the opposite hand.
Another right-handed handoff to the 35-yard line. It just looks very unnatural.
Well, it is unnatural, Greg, but he's done a good job getting ready for it this week. There's Damon Heward. He got some practice snaps. The game plan, Dave Wannstedt said they put in a game plan Monday and Tuesday for Damon Heward to be the starting quarterback. They came in Wednesday, Jay Fiedler says, I feel good. I think I can go. They go out to practice. He did so well. They went, well, Jay Fiedler's going to start this week for us.
Looking at a 3rd and 5. And from the shotgun, Fiedler running out of time. Goes down at the 30-yard line.
Nice coverage by the Colts underneath. They do a good job. Jay Fiedler looking for a short pass underneath, and the Colt linebacker switched the receivers. Do a good job. And one thing you want to do to a quarterback that's a little unsure about himself physically is hit him early, make him think about that shoulder. And the Colts did a good job on that first drive doing that.
Josh Williams and Chad Bratsky combining to bring him down. And Matt Turk kicks it out of there. Terrence Wilkins from his own 29. Dodges trouble across the 35 and out to about the 37 or 38-yard line. 41-yard kick, 8-yard return. And when we come back, Peyton Manning will go to work on offense for the first time. Gumbo Phil Simms back at Pro Player Stadium and talking to these teams over the last couple of days. Each coach had a different way of approaching this game.
Well, Jim Moore played a Monday night game, wanted to really rest his team, gave him rest, shorter practice this week, gave him a day off on Tuesday, something he never does. And Dave Wanstead, after losing last week, trying to take the pressure off his quarterback, went in after the game and said, it was my fault. I made some bad calls that put him in a bad situation.
Edgerrin James gets nothing on a first down carry. Darrell Gardner helping with the stop, a loss of 1, 2nd and 11, and there's Peyton Manning in his 3rd NFL season, just 76 passing yards shy of 4,000 for the 2nd consecutive year. The NFL's leader in passing yards and completions, and number 2 in touchdown passes. That one victory against the Miami Dolphins coming here at Pro Player Stadium last year. 2nd and 11. Here comes the blitz. Quick pass out here and a fine catch made by Jerome Pathon out to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 9. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Well, you look at Indianapolis's offensive line has done a good job with the run blocking and pass protection.
Manning's arsenal, the league's leading rusher in Edgerrin James, fellow Pro Bowler Marvin Harrison leads a talented and dangerous core of receivers.
I'm sorry, Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, has a few new wrinkles for this Miami defense today that they have not seen in the past, and the Colts have not shown all year.
Manning on 3rd and 2 on the slant, incomplete, just across midfield, intended for Marvin Harrison. Patrick Surtain was with him.
Well, it's just hard. Even though Marvin Harrison, up the top of your screen, one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League, when you play the Miami Dolphins, it's hard to get away from the corners, Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain.
Jeff Ogden is deep, awaiting the punt by Hunter Smith. And penalty marker flies on the near side of the field.
Saw some action down there, but I couldn't tell who did it. It looks like, wow, it's against the Dolphins.
Delay on the defense, number 29 trying to draw a false start. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Sam Madison is looking as if he's saying, huh?
Now this went into effect, Greg, a couple years ago. You're not allowed as a defensive player to sit over there and fake a false start. In other words, like the crowd noise could be a factor, and he was making those fakes, trying to draw. Look at the top of your screen. Here's Sam Madison. You see that move? He's trying to make David Macklin move, and the official throws the flag. It's a good call.
Deception is out in the National Football League.
Well, they started that rule so home teams and their crowd wouldn't have such a big advantage over the visitors.
First down at midfield. The play fake. Manning over the middle. Marcus Pollard in the clear to the 10. Touchdown.
The Dolphins defense comes out, tries to be aggressive. They started the game with the blitz. Peyton Manning saw it. That time, the play action pass. Again, tight coverage. And watch Pollard. Single coverage down the field. What a perfect throw by Peyton Manning. anytime you get Marcus Pollard against the safety, Brian Walker, 45, has him in coverage. He can run about as well as a wide receiver. It's tough to cover him down the field.
Indianapolis goes from punt formation, and with the benefit of a penalty against Miami, they get a first down and a 50-yard touchdown pass. Darrell Gardner said, I think we can shut these boys out. There goes the shutout. 10-11 to play in the first quarter. The Colts draw first blood. The Indianapolis Colts go 63 yards in 4 plays. They enjoy their first lead on the road since the 15th of October in Seattle, and they break a string of 3 straight games where they had failed to score a point in the first half. Audrey Denson to the 20. Across the 25 to about the 26, and let's go back to the touchdown, although there's a penalty marker down on the field.
Well, let's look at the touchdown. Here's Marcus Pollard. He's going to go up here. Watch Brian Walker. You talk about play action fakes and being fooled. He comes up. He is beat. And not only that, Edgerrin James has got his guy beat for a touchdown too.
The penalty is against the Miami Dolphins and moves the football back to the 15-yard line.
We've heard so many times, every time we have done a Colts game, they all talk about the defensive players. You cannot tell if it's run or pass. They do such a good job. The offensive line, they block it like it's a running play, and Peyton Manning just makes a fake and drives back and throws it. So defensive players have a hard time deciding what to do.
Smith and Conrad in the backfield on first down, and penalty flies again. Number 83, Hunter Goodwin, the tight end, may have moved. Our referee today, Walt Coleman.
Prior to the snap, false start, 83, offense, 5 yards, still first down.
And already the 3rd Miami Dolphin penalty of the game. And we have played just 5 minutes of the first quarter.
Well, this Miami offense, they need some confidence. Last week, 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, and a fumble. The defense played great last week. Everybody knows it, the fans. And even though the team handled it well, the players know it too.
Fiedler to throw, and has time, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. 7-0 Indianapolis here. Let's check in with Jim Nantz in New York. Jim.
What a scene in Buffalo. Steve Christie can win it. 30-yard try. Go back to balmy Miami.
Balmy it is, Jim.
Look at that shot. Oh, boy.
You're flying up in that direction later on, aren't you?
I love it. I love the winner.
Glad you do. 2nd and 15. You know, it's a clear sky, but it's been raining yellow so far here today.
Prior to the snap, false start, 71, offense, 5 yards.
That's the rookie right tackle, Todd Wade. And it'll be 2nd and 20 from the 5-yard line. Dolphins definitely moving in the wrong direction.
Well, this Colts defense very inspired and probably for the first time in a long time confident after their game Monday night, getting all those sacks, getting turnovers, scoring 2 touchdowns. They feel really good about themselves. And Greg, we talked to some of those defensive players last night. They were sick of hearing it from everybody, so they're feeling good.
Denson out across the 5 to about the 9-10-yard line. You talked about that defensive performance by the Bills against Buffalo. The defense registered 9 sacks, a fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, and turned in 2 defensive touchdowns.
Well, that's a year's worth. Vic Fangio, I'm sure he was. In fact, I saw a shot of him on Monday night when they returned to fumble for the touchdown. He didn't jump up and down for joy as they had a camera on him in the booth. He just like went, oh, thank you. What a relief. And it's such a tough job. They really, Indianapolis defense does a good job. They're in good positions. They just can't make the plays physically when they've had the chances.
Fiedler. Incomplete, intended for Denson out of the backfield, and it'll be 4th down, and they'll kick it away.
Boy, people all over Jay Fiedler's feet. Chad Bradsky's back there. Now, look, you know, Jay Fiedler's only human. You've got a torn rotator cuff in your left shoulder. You practice all week. You come out here in a game, it's just not the same. So it's going to take him a while to settle down and find his rhythm. and find a way to really get comfortable playing with that injury.
Terrence Wilkins stands at midfield. Colts figure to come out of this with terrific field position. Wilkins drifts back to his 39-yard line and is nailed at the 40 by Arturo Freeman, a rookie defensive back out of South Carolina. 51-yard punt and a 1-yard return, and the rookie comes up with a big special teams play for the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins, who Dave Wanstead says we need a big defensive game out of our guys. We need a big defensive game to take the pressure off of our offense.
Well, that's what you expect when you do games for the Miami Dolphins, but so much has been said about the Dolphins this week, and one of the Indianapolis Colts coaches told me, he goes, you know, the Dolphins, they're all fired up and they're talking about the playoffs, getting ready for the playoffs, but he goes, you know, they didn't corner the market on this thing. We're pretty fired up ourselves, and we're talking about the playoffs too. So it is true. The Colts, we found them a little, what would you say last night? Looser.
Oh, I thought they were really exuding a quiet confidence when we talked to them. Let's check in with Armin Katayan downstairs. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Playing off what you said, Phil, and Jay Fiedler, Dave Wanstead just went up to him and kind of went like this. Calm down, Jay. Everything's all right. He also told his team, the penalties are killing us. We've got to stop doing these penalties. Greg, back to you.
All right, Armin. Jay Fiedler just 1 out of 4 for 9 yards here early on.
You know, Armin, that's a big thing. That little message from the head coach goes a long way to a player that's in his situation. With the injury and playing and throwing those 4 interceptions last week, that'll just reassure him, make him feel confident, and should help him get back in rhythm.
We welcome those of you who watched Carolina beat the San Diego Chargers 30-22. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan here at Pro Player Stadium. 8:55 to play in the first quarter. Peyton Manning's 50-yard touchdown pass to Marcus Pollard has the Colts on top 7-0 in a game that, should Miami win, the Dolphins will be the AFC East champions. James and Tim Bowens leading the charge for Miami. The Dolphins defense up front: Mixon, Bowens, Gardner, and Jason Taylor, the author of 13.5 sacks, on his way to the Pro Bowl.
The linebacker Zach Thomas in the middle told us this week, I'm feeling good. The ankle injury is not bothering me anymore.
And what a secondary. 22 picks by that foursome. Madison and Marion headed for the Pro Bowl. You could sure make an argument for the other two. 4 wide receivers. Peyton Manning told us first time all year they've done that. The quick pass over the middle, and it's behind Marvin Harrison, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Well, let's watch Marvin Harrison from the outside. Peyton Manning, pressure's on him, he's open, but the pressure by the defensive line makes the throw go behind him.
You think he had his tasty cakes before the game today, Phil?
Well, Marvin Harrison talking to him last night. What's your favorite food, Marvin? Tasty cakes. Likes his sweets. Maybe that's why he's so fast.
From the shotgun, Manning throws, far side, Edgerrin James complete, looking for a first down and doesn't get there. Comes up about 2 yards shy of first down yardage, and once again, Patrick Surtain all over him.
What a job by Patrick Surtain. He comes off the guy he is covered on the outside. Edgerrin James is open. Zach Thomas is behind him. And watch this tackle. That's what separates these corners for Miami. Not only can they cover, but they're excellent tacklers on the outside.
Hunter Smith to kick it away. And that's Jeff Ogden deep. Sky high kick. Fair catch called for and made at about the 14.5-yard line by Ogden. 38-yard punt and no return. And Jay Fiedler comes back onto the field right after this. Views like that of the play on the field today being brought to us by Monster.com's Blimp Trump. Monster.com operates 2 blimps in the United States. This one 165 feet long, 55 feet high. When it's empty, it weighs over 5,500 pounds. Lamar Smith, the lone back in the backfield, takes the handoff. Mark Thomas with the stop, and they may have lost yardage on the play. They did lose one. It'll be 2nd and 11.
Well, they're playing in the backfield right now. The Colts defensive line and their defense all over just beating the Miami offensive line to the punch. And as Chan Gailey told us when we talked to him on Friday, when they played up in Indianapolis a few weeks ago, he says we did a terrible job when we were running the football. We blew a lot of assignments. We didn't block people. That was because the Colts were moving just before the snap and confusing the blocking assignments by the offensive linemen.
On 2nd and 11, Fiedler still has it. Tosses the screen. Smith. And Smith spinning forward to about the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, Jay Fiedler, left hand. Nice fake going each way. A lot of motion, a lot of deception, as you would say, Greg, to set up the screen play. It looks good, but the Colt defense is fast today. It's reacting very well.
You know, Jay Fiedler quick to tell us on Friday that now the arm is doing a lot better and it's not bothering him, but he really was protecting it even as he was talking to us. Keeping it close to his body. Autry Denson in the backfield with Fiedler on 3rd and 5. Has time. Still looking and throws downfield. It is out of bounds, incomplete. Intended for O.J. McDuffie, who was down the sideline. It'll be 4th down.
Well, one of the big weaknesses on this Colts defense is the secondary. They have trouble covering people down the field. They don't get in position to make the interceptions. But today, so far, they have matched up extremely well against the Dolphin wide receivers, and they are not getting open down the field.
3 possessions for the Dolphins. Managed just 1 first down, and now their 3rd punt. Turk booms it out of there. Wilkins from the 33. Buried back at the 31-yard line. Fine coverage once again by the Dolphins special teams. And Matt Turk likes the results as well. 5:45 to play here in the first quarter. If you haven't felt the playoff fever yet, it's getting there.
Well, if you were judging from this game just so far, a couple series by each team, very physical. Both teams look very fast, reacting to whatever they see in front of them.
Manning and the Colts from their own 31-yard line. Play fake. Pollard, 35, 40, out of bounds, 1st down.
Well, see, Greg, we were talking about the Colts are going to show a few new things today they haven't shown in the past. Usually when you see Peyton Manning make that play action fake, what comes behind it? A long pass
to
down
Marvin
the field.
Harrison. Yes.
Yeah, somewhere. And they haven't quite hit as many of those this year as they have in the past. So that time, a nice fake, throws a short pass to Marcus Pollard, and he picks up a 1st down.
From the 41.5. This time to give to Edgerrin James out to the 43-yard line in a game of immense importance. New England and Buffalo. Here's Jim Nantz.
Well, they're going to love this one at New England because, well...
All right, Jim. And what that means, I will talk about that right after this play, 2nd and 9. Play fake. Manning throws, got his man, Harrison, across midfield, lost the football. Picked up by the Dolphins, and it's still loose, and now the Colts appear to fall on it.
Well, that could be one. A lot of things could happen on this play. It happened so fast. Marvin Harrison gets the pass. Here he comes across the middle. Let's see if he has possession. Catch. Oh, yeah, he's got it easy. Patrick Surtain knocks it out. Zach Thomas can't get it. Sam Madison fumbles it.
Steve McKinney finally falls on it for Indianapolis.
I thought maybe Sam Madison was down before he fumbled, but he is not.
We are having a conversation amongst officials.
Well, that's from that view right there.
Well, there are a lot of players who are gesturing, but there has been no official word yet.
Well, I tell you, my first thought is here, it is a fumble by the Dolphins. I don't know if somebody blew the play dead. That could be one of the issues they're talking about.
Well, here's Walt Coleman.
Here we go.
On the field, we have a reception and a fumble, and then a fumble recovery by Indianapolis. First down.
Just as we saw it.
Correct call. Even if Sam Madison was down, it won't matter. His own guy knocked him down.
And now Dave Wannstedt will issue a challenge. So we'll have a break here while officials take a look, although Walt Coleman is having a conversation with him. Those of you who watched the New England Patriots defeat Buffalo 13-10 in overtime, welcome to Pro Player Stadium. 4:24 to play in the first quarter, and here is what just happened and what is the subject of conversation between Dave Wannstedt and referee Walt Coleman.
Marvin Harrison catches it. Surtain knocks it out. Watch Sam Madison picks it up. He is hit. He fumbles. Steve McKinney picks it up.
And Walt Coleman backing away from Dave Wannstedt.
I think Dave Wannstedt wants it clarified, and he wants to determine if he can challenge this or not. He waved the red flag at the referees. I don't know if it's, look, if.
And the officials are having yet another conversation now at midfield.
Well, we've had some interesting replays here in the last couple of days. The big one yesterday at the end of the Seattle game. A play that I've never seen it come up. I heard today that it was the second time it's come up in the National Football League this year where a player slides and recovers a fumble, goes in the end zone. You must bring it out.
Oh, well, Coleman's going to call his committee back.
Come back here one more second.
The ruling on the field is that the pass was complete, then Miami recovered the ball, then fumbled, then Indianapolis recovered. Miami has challenged the ruling on the field that the Miami player was down by contact.
Yes, Dave Wannstedt would like the call to be that Sam Madison was down before he fumbled the football.
Yeah, here's important. Watch this. Here it comes. Sam Madison is going to pick the football. There he is. Edgerrin James now creates the force down to the ground. That will be the question. Was he down before that football came out?
Well, you know, there's a really good question. Are you down by contact if the opposition doesn't touch you?
Yes. Edgerrin James knocked the players into him, knocks it down. He hit Zach Thomas, who fell into Sam Madison. To answer your question, Greg, yes.
Thank you.
Look at that. Edgerrin James is hitting him. That's what knocks him down to the ground. That would be considered a tackle. Ooh, that's close.
It is close.
Of course, right there, you can't see the legs. Elbow was down.
I would assume Sam Madison's right leg is down as well.
Well, now your forearm, too. Watch Sam Madison's right forearm. If it hits the ground before it comes out, you can't see the football. From there, it looks like his forearm was on the ground. His legs could have been. Could be a good challenge by Dave Wannstedt.
While they look, we started to talk about the importance of that Buffalo loss. Buffalo losing means that Indianapolis needs to win here today in order to stay alive in the postseason race. If Miami wins here today, that means they clinch the AFC East, and they also clinch a playoff spot for the New York Jets.
That's right. You got it.
I did?
It only took you all day explaining it 20 times to you.
And yesterday.
But here it is. And it's hard to figure out. You can see who has clinched.
But the loss by Buffalo means that Indianapolis has to win today to stay alive.
Miami wins, then you can put an arrow here and an arrow there, and you're done.
And your specialty, those arrows.
Well, that wasn't a very good arrow.
Oh, Walt Coleman still looking. Sam Madison still waiting.
Yeah, this is a tough call. This is not, you know, Greg, you and I can sit here and think, well, what's going to happen? I believe Dave Wannstedt's challenge will be
upheld.
Upheld, yes. Thank you.
Well, as you see some of the scores going by, there was some weather around the country today, wasn't there?
Yes, it was.
We talked about as we caught part of that game in Cleveland, that looked like old-time NFL stuff in the snow.
Yeah, it used to be you would see 5 or 6 games a year in Cleveland or whatever, snow and mud. And this year, the last couple of years, the weather has just been terrific around the NFL on Sundays.
Well, the fans getting a little impatient as Walt Coleman continues to look.
And me too.
And he's made his decision.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. A Miami player knocked his own player down. The Miami player caused his teammate to go down, and so we still had a fumble. Indianapolis recovered, first down.
Well, here you go. So Zach Thomas running into his own player causes him to go down, and he's not officially ruled down.
So the upshot is the line of scrimmage is now the 43-yard line of the Miami Dolphins, and it's a first down for Indianapolis. Peyton Manning has now gone over 4,000 yards passing, and only the 5th quarterback in NFL history with consecutive 4,000-yard seasons. Got a feeling he's only going to add a little to his resume as time goes on. First down, Indianapolis. Harrison in motion. Play fake. Manning throws far side, has his man wide open inside the 30-yard line, Jerome Patham. And Patham brought to a standing halt at about the 27-yard line. 17 yards and another first down.
Well, you can see why, or you know why Jerome Patham gets wide open. Watch your defender. There's the fake, and watch. Peyton Manning's going to look left. He looks left twice, turns all the way to the right side. Just give Jerome Patham so much time to get open. Very hard for Patrick Surtain to cover one-on-one in a situation that long.
You know, in conversation with Peyton Manning last night, you get the impression that he feels that they've got to be more selective in taking their long ball shots, and they really want to try to get it shorter on occasion. Play clock down to 4. James, left side, inside the 20, to the 15, loose football, Miami football. The turnover battle won by the Miami Dolphins. In fact, we've had 3 turnovers now in a minute 10. Jason Taylor recovers the football when all is said and done.
It's a draw play by the Colts. Edgerrin James, nice hole. Good blocking down the field. Sam Madison gets the hit. And what causes the fumble? Just the pursuit of the Dolphin defense getting to the ball carrier makes Edgerrin James fumble the football.
We're back after this. We remind you, for a complete breakdown of all playoff scenarios, including updates at the conclusion of each game, click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com. Edgerrin James, his fumble has turned the football back over to the Miami Dolphins, who take over at their own 19-yard line. Both wide receivers flank to the near side. Smith and Conrad in the backfield. Smith. Lamar Smith bowling over the 25 to about the 27-yard line. A pickup of 8 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Well, that's the first time today we have seen the Miami offensive line win the war up front. Lamar Smith gets it. He stretches it to the outside. Nice block by Robert Conrad, the fullback. And Robert Smith, which he's done all year long, once he sees contact coming, and the reason why he is the starting halfback for the Dolphins, he runs it up in there hard and gets a couple extra yards.
On 2nd and 2, it's Smith again. And Smith with 1 yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 1. And Dave Wanstead told us on Friday we're going to have to run the ball against Indianapolis. And keep in mind, Lamar Smith didn't play in the first game against the Colts, but he was out with an injury.
That's right. And, you know, Lamar Smith, a guy that nobody paid attention to when the Dolphins came to training camp this year. Robert Conrad is on the field down. Couldn't tell what it is. It looked like maybe it was one of his knees or his ankle. Something's hurting him.
Does appear to be his left knee.
Well, let's see if we can see what happened to Robert Conrad. To the right side of the screen. Oh yes, Chad Bratsky goes on the back of his left leg. Oh, that could be his ankle or his knee. Very fortunate he's up and able to somewhat walk off the field.
So he's replaced by number 33, Dion Dyer, a rookie out of North Carolina and Miami's 4th round draft choice.
Yeah, there's Dion. But, you know, go back to Lamar Smith. The reason he's in, you know, they came to training camp. They thought J.J. Johnson was going to be their starting halfback. But when they put the pads on, they started scrimmaging preseason games. Lamar Smith just has a knack of getting down low, getting those tough yards, and that's what Dave Wanstead was looking for in a halfback.
3rd and 1. Smith again. Lost the football. Picked up by the Colts. And it's Indianapolis ball at the Miami 35-yard line. Jason Belzer comes up with the ball.
I couldn't tell what caused that fumble. When you get in a big game like this, you can tell the tension is there. The energy is high, emotions, and the hitting is ferocious. So guys are taking hits. Oh, that time it just looks like it gets ripped out from the side. Couldn't tell who grabbed him. Watch Lamar Smith cuts it back. It's Chad Bratsky, I think, that caused the fumble. Reached his arm in there, pulled it out.
We've had 4 turnovers in the last 2.5 minutes. Manning back on the field again with prime field position. Edgerrin James, nowhere to go. Daryl Gardner doing what he does so well, plugging what might have been a hole, but not once Mr. Gardner gets there.
Yeah. Well, Greg, we talked about it. I just want to say this. The Indianapolis Colts offense today, we said they're going to show some new formation, show a couple new plays and new wrinkles that that Miami hasn't seen and nobody has seen so far this year. The short passes off of play action could be real beneficial for them later in the game.
4 wide receivers once again for Manning. Play fake, time, throws, has a man, penalty marker down on this side of the field. Inside the 30-yard line is Edgerrin James, and close to a first down, but let's check the flag.
Now that was one of those formations. We're going to have holding against the Dolphins. But that time, they went.
Holding, 29, defense, 5 yards, automatic, first down.
Sam Madison.
Let's just look at the play, though. Here is Edgerrin James. Here's the holding down here. But watch Edgerrin James as he come through. He gets singled up on Zach Thomas, and that is a tough assignment for Zach Thomas to cover him all over the field. Makes the fake. Look where he goes. He breaks out the sidelines. Zach Thomas does a pretty good job. Slows him down until he gets help to make the tackle.
Offensive coordinator Tom Moore, that is already 5 penalties against the Miami Dolphins today.
Well, Peyton Manning came into our meeting last night and he was talking to us about the game plan, and I said, "Well, you happy with it?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I feel good about this one. I like it. We got a lot of good stuff," and he even told us he put a few plays in himself this week.
Penalty marker flies, and on the Miami defense, they're pointing and saying he moved.
Prior to the snap, false start, 32.
And he did.
Offense, 5 yards, still first down.
You know, I'm not laughing because the situation is very serious for the teams, but, you know, Jim Morris sitting over there going, "Hey, we got a chance to win this game right now." I mean, they're getting some breaks, some opportunities, and you put Miami down in a 14-0 deficit, it's going to be tough for them to come back. Your defense can be aggressive. So many good things can happen for you. So
you've got a quarterback on the other side whose health is suspect.
Yes.
1st and 15. The Colts with their first penalty of the day. James. may have gotten to the 35.5-yard line.
No penalties. Just wanted to point that out. Got a clean play. No fumble. No penalties.
Well, nothing. The game has slowed down, Phil.
Got nothing to talk about now.
Pickup of 2. It's 2nd and 13.
I got to talk to you.
Well, you won't have to for too much longer. Time's winding down here in the first quarter.
Well, I think we could just see the tension and the excitement about the playoffs. What's at stake here today?
Well, Peyton Manning is all fired up. We've come to the end of the first quarter here at Pro Player Stadium, just outside of Miami. Peyton Manning with a 50-yard touchdown pass to Marcus Pollard has the Colts on top 7-0. We'll come back right after this. Halftime report. Jim, Mike, and Jerry have the scores and highlights and all the latest playoff news. It's all coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Rob Conrad, number 44, trying to feel good enough to get back onto the field. Peyton Manning from the 35-yard line on 2nd and 13. Throws incomplete. And once again, closing was Patrick Surtain, this time on Jerome Pathan.
Well, it's a couple things I've noticed. Here are some of the short passes on 1st and 2nd down. Today, the Colts wanted just to drop back more than they have in the past. In other words, try to catch Miami's defense off guard, not all that play action. And also, they're going in left formations. As we look at Patrick Surtain, they're putting their tight end left, so Jason Taylor can't be quite the force rushing the passer.
Manning from the shotgun. Throws, has his man inside the 25. That's Jerome Pathan, and Pathan appears to have enough for the first down. That's a 15-yard pickup.
What an extra effort by Jerome Pathan. Watch him go across the middle. He catches it. He sees it. He's just a little bit short. Gets up in the air. Oh, and gets a first down. Really a terrific job. And Jerome Pathan, he's becoming he told us last night, it's tough to be the second receiver on this team. You got Marvin Harrison, you got Edgerrin James in the backfield. There's just not enough footballs to spread it around.
Pathan flank to the top of your screen on 1st and 10. James. Hole on the left side to the 10. Brock Marion dragged him down after a 12-yard pickup, and it's a first down.
Well, that time, Peyton Manning is making it audible. Zach Thomas, number 54, thinks he knows what's going to happen when Peyton makes those audibles, Peyton Manning. But that time, Jeff Saturday just came out and pushed Zach Thomas right away from the run.
The Colts now with a 1st and goal from the 10. Edgerrin James to about the 6. And Surtain, who has been really active so far today off of his cornerback position with the tackle.
Oh, I know. It's not tough enough just to cover Marvin Harrison, Jerome Pathan. Then you got to come up and tackle Edgerrin James all the time. And that play was a good example. As you sit at home today, watch Edgerrin James when pressure gets around him or he thinks he's going to get tackled. He can get lower than any running back I've seen in the National Football League and go ahead and get another yard or two because he gets his shoulders so low to the ground.
Trace Armstrong onto the field on the defensive line for the Dolphins. The pass out here to Edgerrin James at the 5 and smacked out of bounds at about the 4.
Who made the tackle?
I think it was Patrick Surtain along with Zach Thomas.
Well, Patrick Surtain all year long. He's like the other guy away from Sam Madison. Watch Zach Thomas. Drops back in the zone, sees the pass. Boy, what a terrific job by the defense. When Edgerrin James caught that pass, I thought, he makes one guy miss. It's going to be a touchdown, but Zach Thomas and Surtain both make the tackle.
Zach Thomas with 10 tackles in that game against Tampa last week. 3rd and goal. James goes in motion. Manning gonna keep it to the end zone, touchdown. Peyton Manning's first rushing touchdown of the season. And the Colts jump on top by 13.
When Edgerrin James went in motion, I thought it was going to be a quarterback draw. It's not, it's a pass. But look at the running lane. Nobody is in the middle. Everybody is outside trying to cover receiver, and Peyton Manning just senses it, steps up, and gets a touchdown.
Peyton Manning's first rushing touchdown since November of last year. And the extra point by Mike Vanderjagt is good. 12:22 to play in the first half. 14-0 Indianapolis. See Peyton Manning flexing his head back and forth, and they've been rubbing him on the back of the neck on the sideline every once in a while. We'll keep an eye on that.
Well, that's the one thing about running the football as a quarterback, Greg. When you stick that head, when you go head first, those defensive players, it's not a question of who's going to hit you, it's how many.
Danny Kite kicks it off. On the big bounce, it's Kevin Williams at the 13. And Williams weaving his way up to the 35-yard line. Tony Blevins with the stop after a 24-yard return. And let's go down to the sideline and Armin Catanian. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Early on, you said what the stakes were here. I can tell you from the whole season, the games on the sideline, this is the most intense game I've seen all year, particularly along the line of scrimmage. And one little scene where Peyton Manning on that fumble, where he dove into the time whatsoever, trying to get to do whatever he could to help his team win. And certainly what we saw in that touchdown. Back to you.
All right, Armin. Miami with its best field position of the day, beginning from the 35-yard line. Play fake. Fiedler over the middle. Has his man. Lamar Smith out of the backfield up to about the 39-yard line and a gain of 4. What's at stake here? Well, as we said, the playoff picture has Miami, the Jets, Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh on the outside looking in. If Miami wins today, they claim the AFC East, and they also ensure a playoff spot for the New York Jets. Indianapolis needs a victory here to stay alive. Smith, right side, across the 40, out to about the 42 or 43-yard line. You know, Daryl Gardner, we mentioned it earlier, Phil, about, he said earlier this week, and boy, Jim Mora deemed it worthy enough to put up on the bulletin board for the Indianapolis Colts. Gardner said, we think we can shut those boys out.
Yeah, Jim Mora says, I don't put much up on the bulletin board. The only time they throw it up there is if the opposing player says something to kind of give them a rallying point, and I think saying something like that's a pretty good rallying point for especially the Indy offense.
3rd and 3. Lamar Smith going to throw it. Left-handed pass is caught, and it's out of bounds. Tony Martin made the catch, did not come down inbounds.
Only got 1 foot down. You got to remember when you play the Dolphins, Lamar Smith, a left-handed thrower. Not a really good left-handed thrower, but good enough. Nice fake. He really carried it out. That's what sold it to the Colts defense. And watch the feet come down. Left foot, right foot is definitely out of bounds.
Miami's only first down of the day thus far came 3 plays into the game. Matt Turk. This one's going to bring rain. Fair catch called for and made by Wilkins at about the 26-yard line. 32-yard punt, no return. 10:37 to play in the first half. 14-0 Colts.
Phillips, technology that's making life a little better all the time. And by American Century Investments, with over 40 years of investment management experience.
Some of the nice sights around the Fort Lauderdale area. As you look at Peyton Manning's numbers so far on the day, he has eclipsed the 4,000-yard passing mark for the season. And he has the Colts on top 14-0. Edgerrin James dips to the right and finds running room across the 30 out to about the 34, maybe the 35-yard line. Zach Thomas in for another tackle.
You know, it's really interesting when you watch the Colts offense. They got so many weapons. They got tight ends. They got Marvin Harrison. They got Jerome Pathon. And Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, says, I got to sit over here and I got to be really patient. Because if I'm not patient, I don't let Edgerrin James be a big part of our team. In other words, you know, he wants to call those pass plays to get those big ones down the field, but you got to make sure you give this guy enough carries.
Marker flies as James goes straight ahead, and let's check the penalty. It has been a penalty-filled game already. Looks like it'll be a false start against Indianapolis.
Illegal formation on the offense. 73 was the end man on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards, still second down.
Adam Meadows left uncovered on the right side.
He's the wide receiver, did step up to the line of scrimmage, or the tight end, whoever was next to him. Adam does not look like a wide receiver or a tight end. Maybe he's a big blocking tight end.
I will be happy to tell him you said so.
All right, that's a compliment.
2nd and 7. Little movement there. Manning hits the dirt. Jermaine Haley jumping across the line.
That's a big part of the game for this Dolphin defense. 14-0.
Offside, 94, defense, 5 yards, still second down.
So we'll move it back 5 yards the other way. You know, it's what's amazing about this game and the NFL, Phil, the ebb and flow of the feelings. We watched the Oakland Raiders lose that tough game to Seattle, and now you figure, oh, they've watched their chances for a division title and a first-round bye go down the drain. And what happens in Kansas City today? The Chiefs rise up and beat the Denver Broncos, and you got a feeling they're smiling a little easier out in Oakland now.
Yeah, look at Oakland goes up and plays a 5-9 team that really has nothing to play for. But in this league, good to bad, it's a small margin.
Not much there at all for Edgerrin James. Jerry Wilson coming up from the secondary for the stop. Loss of 1 on the play, and it'll be 3rd and 3.
Well, this time the Miami Dolphins defensive line just gets to the point of attack quicker, and Jerry Wilson comes from the outside, unblocked, and makes the tackle in the backfield.
Jerry Wilson in his 6th season out of Southern University. Trace Armstrong onto the field now, the NFL sack leader with 16 and a half of them. Manning on the run, 1st down and more, slides down to the 45-yard line. So Peyton Manning arrived at Pro Player Stadium today with his running shoes on.
Well, Peyton Manning, watch as he goes back to pass. Zach Thomas turns, goes out there, nobody in the middle. He knows it's man coverage down the field. So when he pulls it down before the defensive backs can turn and see the quarterback is running with the football, too late, 1st down.
Peyton Manning, 2 carries for 15 yards and a touchdown now. And a 1st down at the 44. Play fake. Manning throwing deep. It is incomplete, and Jerome Pathan turned defensive back to prevent the interception. Patrick Surtain in the middle of a play. How can that be?
It's not that they're picking on him. It just so happens that Peyton Manning, nobody else is open, and then tries to find his last resort. Now, this is some outlet pass. You know, most offenses have about a 2-yard dump pass to throw if everybody's covered down the field. Peyton Manning's throwing one about 40 yards down the field.
Second and 10. James running room, breaks it outside across midfield to the 47-yard line of the Miami Dolphins. Wilson again in on the stop. And it'll be 3rd and 1.
Well, that time, Greg, we talked about this a little earlier. 4 wide receivers. Again, look, only Zach Thomas now is in the middle, so Edgerrin James, when he gets to draw, has more room to run the football. Look at that. Nobody in the picture. And that's why the Colts want to go 4 wide receivers. Peyton Manning under center. They can run the football, and they're going to throw some play-action passes out that look, too.
You see how far Manning has to go for a 1st down. James didn't get there. Robert Jones, the linebacker. Hit James first, and they'll force the punt.
Well, that was definitely an important stop for the Miami defense there. Robert Jones, good job, stays his ground on the outside. Edgerrin James breaks it out. He's there for the tackle.
That's Jeff Ogden standing at his own 10-yard line. And Hunter Smith to kick it away. Fair catch called for. And that brings a reaction from the fans because there wasn't anyone within 15 yards of Jeff Ogden. 36-yard punt and no return.
Unforgettable. That's what you...
AFC, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Colts, the Steelers.
Pittsburgh is still in the playoff hunt.
6.5 to play in the first half. Lamar Smith across the 15. Mike Peterson with the tackle.
That was for you, Greg, in case you couldn't hear me.
And Edgerrin James being looked at on the Indianapolis sideline.
He's got a boo-boo.
Hate when that happens.
Oh, yeah, that puts you out for 4 weeks.
I can't travel with one of those.
Oh.
Under 6 minutes play now in the first half. Smith again, left side, finds running room across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Bernard Holsey, who had himself a fumble recovery, returned 48 yards for a touchdown on Monday night against Buffalo.
You know, Greg, you look at this Colts defense, it's 26th in the league against the rush. But I've talked to Jim Moore about this a few times, and he says if a team just lines up, there's Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator, in conventional offenses, in other words, a tight end, 2 backs, he says we're pretty good at stopping the run, and that's what the Dolphins do.
On 3rd and 2. Right side. First down and more for Smith. 35, 40, and out of bounds. Cornelius Bennett ran him out of bounds on the far side of the field after a 20-yard gain.
Well, anytime you run to the outside, Hunter Goodwin, number 83, does a good job of blocking, but to get outside, your tight end and your fullback must do a good job. And that time, Hunter Goodwin, 83, started it, and then Lamar Smith, again, tough running, hard to bring down. You better get your arms wrapped around this guy.
So the Dolphins with only their second first down of the game. The ball just across the 40-yard line. The pitch for Smith. Smith bounces off a tackler across the 45 and finally dragged down at the 48-yard line. And penalty marker is down. Walt Coleman gets the verdict. A face mask call goes against Indianapolis.
And a 15-yard personal foul.
Personal foul. Grabbing and twisting the face mask. 52. Defense. 15 yards. First down.
The Colts' the leading tackler, second-year man Mike Peterson.
You can look at Mike Peterson. You see the hand up on the helmet. Doesn't let go.
So the line of scrimmage now, the 38. And J.J. Johnson is in the backfield now for the Dolphins. He gets the handoff.
It's over! It's over!
To about the 35. It'll be 2nd and 7. Chad Cota making the stop. And Dwight Hollier, the middle linebacker, the starting middle linebacker for Indianapolis, being looked at on the side. Boy,
Well,
how many players have we talked to, Phil, where we said, well, how are you feeling? He said, oh, you're always nicked up this time of year.
Oh, yeah, Greg, it's not. If you could put a film on right now and show the Miami Dolphins week 1 to what they're doing out here now, you couldn't believe the difference in the speed because you're beat up, you're tired, you're slower this time of year.
Play fake to Smith. Fiedler going down the field, has a man open inside the 10, and it's complete to Tony Martin. What a nice play fake by Jay Fiedler and hit Tony Martin in stride.
It lets Tony Martin, because of the play fake, and it gives Jay Fiedler so much time to throw. It goes all the way across the field, finds a weak spot in the defense, and makes the catch.
That is the first reception by a Miami wide receiver, and I said he hit him in stride, but I believe Tony Martin had come to a standstill to make that catch. First and goal. Trying the left side, Smith.
Well, Greg, that play action pass, it was a direct result of what they've been doing on this drive. They've just run the football so well that when you finally make that play fake, that the defense, they have to honor it, gives the quarterback a long time to throw, and these wide receivers, they can get open given about 3 or 4 seconds to run down the field.
Clock continues to move as we come up on the 2-minute warning here in the second quarter. A look at Fiedler's numbers. Number 82, Jed Weaver, is in at a wide receiver slot. And the quick pass to Weaver as he worked his way toward the goal line. Chad Cota defending.
Well, it's kind of new. I haven't seen the Dolphins do much of this stuff during the year. Like every team, what are you trying to accomplish? Get one of your players you think is better than the other guy across from him and throw to him. They thought Jed Weaver was a good matchup against Chad Cota. He is. Because of his side, it just wasn't a good throw by Jay Fiedler.
Stops the clock with 2:06 to play, and it's a 3rd and goal. From the 7. Fiedler flips to the screen, bobbled by Smith, and Smith is knocked down at about the line of scrimmage. Mike Peterson makes the tackle. Dave Wannstedt wondering what might have been if Lamar Smith had not fumbled that ball for a couple of seconds. 2-minute warning. We'll be right back. 1:58 to play in the first half, and the field goal unit. What is that, Phil?
Oh, it's so pretty. Is that the moon?
I think it's the sun.
Whatever.
I could be wrong.
You live down here. You know everything about Florida.
Olindo Mare has made 34 straight from 35 or less, and this one from 25 yards out is good. And so Dave Wannstedt's crew gets on the board with the field goal. 14-3 Colts. Terrence Wilkins, the only deep man for the Colts. And Olindo Mare to kick it away. Wilkins drifts to his left, takes it in at the 5. 15, cuts it up the middle across the 20 and to about the 24-yard line. And once again, a look from on high from the Monster.com blimp Trump, which provides us with these live aerial shots of the game today. Monster.com operates 2 blimps in the United States. Trump is the name of the green monster on the front of the blimp, and he is the flagship monster. Phil, from Monster.com.
You know more about blimps than anybody I know. You really do.
I do a lot of reading up on it.
Yes.
Manning and the Colts with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. James, 25, 30, 34-yard line and close to a first down.
I tell you what, Miami's going to have to go in at halftime and make an adjustment to Indianapolis's 4 wide receivers, because the running plays are just ripping them for 10 yards every time.
James for the first down. You know, that first run by Edgerrin James is a good example of Dave Wannstedt telling us on Friday that we're going to have to take care of the football defensively on first down. Quick pass, Marvin Harrison. Harrison, first down across the 45 to the 47-yard line, and the timeout is called to stop the clock with 64 seconds to play. 14-3 Indy, and we'll be right back. Dave Wannstedt, and to get back to what he was telling us on Friday, Phil, that the Colts have a distinct advantage on first down with a guy like Edgerrin James in the game.
Yeah, they do, Greg. 2 things. He can run it, but the play action passes, That's what really beats up opposing defenses when you play Indianapolis. You honor the run, now you try to cover Marvin Harrison down the field and get him out of first down, then you don't have to honor the run as much.
You saw what Edgerrin James has accomplished, going over 1,500 yards. Manning with time over the middle. Has his man into Miami territory is Edgerrin James. And now Manning calls a timeout and stops the clock. 53 seconds to play, and he's down to one timeout here in the first half. Back onto the field after calling the second timeout for the Colts. And Phil, I was just wondering why he wouldn't come up to the line and spike the football.
You know, a couple things, Greg. You work on that play in practice all the time, and they try to time it out. But coming up to the line and getting set and doing all those things and spiking the ball always takes about 3 or 4 more seconds than you think. Peyton Manning did the right thing, called the timeout. Still has one left.
Plenty of time on the play clock as Manning makes sure everybody knows what he's doing. James to the 40.
Well, if Zach Thomas, the keys he had, he was kind of telling us when Peyton Manning walks out and tells the tackles what to do, it's going to be a run. And that time he talked to the tackles and it was a run.
2nd and 8. On the slant, Harrison inside the 35-yard line. 25 seconds to play. It's a 3rd and 2. James gets the first down close to the 30-yard line. And now, let's see, Manning making motions like he wants to spike the ball now.
He's got to pay attention to the sideline. They want him to call a timeout. See, here we go. Perfect example. It takes so much longer than you think to get up there and spike the football. If he called the timeout, they might have had one shot at the end zone now.
Now Mike Vanderjagt will come onto the field with 6 seconds to play in the half.
That's what I say, now you have to come out with your field goal team. Pretty good job, Colts, on a 2-minute drill there. Good job of moving it down the field. You kind of caught Miami in a tough situation. They didn't know whether to go up and be aggressive or sit back, and the Colts are just so good in the skilled positions. If you play back at all, they're going to move the football down the field on you.
Colts moved the ball 46 yards in a minute 48. Mike Vanderjagt, who is 22 for 24 in the field goal department this season and has a long of 45. This one is 48 yards away. Hunter Smith holds. The kick is straight enough, and it is long enough. Time expires here in the first half. Vanderjagt, a 53-yarder to beat the Colts at the final buzzer the last time the Colts were down here in Miami. And he nails one here. Let's go down to Armin.
Coach, with Jay obviously hurting, will you stay with him in the second half? And beyond that, how do you get back in this game?
Yeah, I don't think it was the quarterback at all. I mean, we started off making a couple of mistakes, you know, a penalty early, and then we turned it over at midfield, and they capitalized on it. So, you know, it's not a situational quarterback. We just have to make more plays on offense and defense.
All right, Coach. Greg?
All right, Armin. We have come to the end of the first half with the score, the Colts 17 and Miami 3, something that he has not had on a very consistent basis from his defense this year.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. And also, you know, the big thing I've noticed today, too, here, they are more aggressive. The play calling by the defensive coordinator is letting the players run around and giving them a chance to make those plays.
Here's Terrence Wilkins from the 10-yard line. Has some blocking on the right side, tries to turn the corner, but is out of bounds at about the 21-yard line. And let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. And talking to Coach Moore, he is definitely pleased with his defense and the job they've done inside their own 20, holding the Dolphins to just 3 points. I made mention of that fast start, and he goes, well, thank goodness, because we're in for a fast finish. Back to you.
All right. Well, Jim Moore, we've had a chance to talk to him quite a few times this year. What did he say last night? Hey, Coach, got to be happy. Your defense played really well on Monday night. Yeah, but we'll see tomorrow. You know, he just, yeah, it's good we did. He wants to keep seeing the positive, and he wanted to know if his defense could follow up a good game with another good game.
Hey, there's a man who knows defense from those years and those teams that he developed down in New Orleans. Edgerrin James, right side, just back to the line of scrimmage and maybe another yard. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Now, you know, you went in that Miami locker room at halftime, This Miami defense came into this game feeling really good about itself. They played very well last week, but they got pushed around by the Colts offense. So there's Jim Bates, the defensive coordinator. I think they're going to be a little more emotional here in the second half and take the fight to this Colts offense.
2nd and 9. Manning, quick drop, quick pass. Ken Builder, first catch of the day, out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line.
Now, you know, that's really something new. 2nd down and long. The Colts love play-action passes on 1st down and 2nd down, and now they're dropping back and taking some short throws. I think we did 2 games in a row where I didn't see but about 1 or 2 passes less than 10 yards in the air. So this puts them in good position to pick up a 3rd down and short.
3rd and 3. From the shotgun, under pressure, he throws, and that is complete, and that's close to a 1st down to Marvin Harrison.
It's going to be close, but it looks like he might have it, Craig. But did you see what they did that time to Marvin Harrison? Here he goes across the formation, and watch when he comes back. There's going to be 2 other receivers. He's going to get behind them, now try to cover him man-to-man. Sam Madison sees it, but it's too late. Football's on its way to pick up the 1st down.
Marvin Harrison comes into this game 5th in the NFL in receptions, 3rd in touchdown receptions. On 1st down, play fake. Manning throws short to Pollard. Pollard spinning across the 35 to the 37-yard line.
Well, you can see why the Indianapolis Colts, Marcus Pollard's a free agent after this season, why they want to re-sign him and keep him for the future. He's kind of a different weapon from the tight end spot. He's able to move around, but he's so nimble, fast, and big, and he can do it all. He's a good blocker on the inner line of scrimmage, too.
We've made note of this before. Didn't play a down of college football. Was a pretty good basketball player at Bradley University, and the Colts just like his athleticism. 2nd and 5.
You sure he was pretty good at basketball?
Yeah, pretty good. James weaving, breaking across midfield and into Miami territory. It's another 1st down, a gain of 15 yards, and there is a fine display of just how well Edgerrin James can run the football.
It's everything. Watch how quick the draw is. Players go up the field. Oh, nice job. Jeff Saturday again on Zach Thomas, getting down, getting on him, and Zach Thomas cannot get away from the center and allows Edgerrin James to pick up some good yards.
And Edgerrin James already 75 yards today on 18 carries. James again to the 43.
That play we saw the time before this run, it was a draw play. That's another new play this week for the Indianapolis Colts. It's a quick draw. All the linemen fake pass. Miami getting up the field. Edgerrin James getting into the linebackers very quickly.
You know, once again, Patrick Surtain came up to make the stop, and what an active 1st half. You know, there's a guy who had to be dog tired at halftime, and he comes out making tackles in the 2nd half. Long count on 2nd and 5. Manning over the middle, incomplete, intended for Pollard, and there's a marker. Robert Jones along with number 81. And that's who the penalty is on.
Yeah, he just got a little anxious. He had good position.
Holding, 52, defense, 5 yards, automatic, 1st down.
Marcus Pollard, number 81, watch as he goes up the field. As he comes across, oh, he gets that arm bar in front. Anytime you put your arm in front of a receiver going down the field, easy call for the officials.
Isn't this interesting to watch Peyton Manning after all the games where we've seen him go long and long and long, and now he's picking his spots over the middle and quick outs on the outside. Play fake. Throws this side. Complete. Edgerrin James, and James wrestled down at about the 37-yard line.
Well, Greg, you know, you bring up a really nice point here. When you're playing the Miami Dolphins, why do you want to continue to throw the football to Patrick Surtain and Sam Madison? You got to find somebody else to pick on. Those two guys we've seen today, we've seen all year long, they're really good. So find some weaker players, get some matchups, Marcus Pollard, get your running back Edgerrin James, and throw the football to them if you can.
We stated at the top of the day what a great season that secondary has had. 2nd and 9. Pass to the far side, and that's complete. Pollard, maybe to the 35-yard line.
Pass complete to Marcus Pollard.
Take a look at the Dolphins and what they've done in their last 3 games here at Pro Player Stadium. 11 turnovers, and look at the penalties for the yardage. And they've been outscored 56-19. Trace Armstrong in at left defensive end on 3rd and 7. Manning throws. James fighting his way to the 25-yard line, and a first down, and a pretty good catch by Edgerrin James.
Well, Tom Moore's doing a good job of designing plays, but this is just about Edgerrin James and Peyton Manning. It was a blitz. Nobody could pick it up. Edgerrin James was going to go down the field and try to work on Zach Thomas. He turns a little quicker. Peyton Manning sees it. He throws it to him. Nice catch, good run.
9 consecutive completions for Peyton Manning. The ball now at the 25-yard line. That's Dilger in motion and into the backfield. And markers fly as the handoff goes to James.
Offsides on Miami. Derek Rogers on the outside was going to blitz. Did not anticipate the count. Didn't time it well.
Offside, 59. Defense, 5 yards. Repeat, first down.
So it'll be 1st and 5. Miami now 8 penalties worth 45 yards today.
But one thing, if you cover the Miami Dolphins and you watch them all year long, last year they blitzed a lot. This year they have not. That's one of the reasons why the defense doesn't give up big plays, and they don't have to because their front line does such a good job of rushing the passer. But you're down 17-3. The Colts are driving. They're getting impatient. They should be impatient, so they're trying to force the action, but they're not getting to the quarterback with these blitzes.
From the 20. Manning's pass to Harrison. Harrison forward to the 17-yard line. That'll be a first down for Indianapolis.
Well, Marvin Harrison, you talked about it, Greg. Short passes. Boy, Peyton Manning has got to be loving this. This time really sells the upfield fake just enough to create separation between him and Patrick Surtain and makes the catch.
And for Marvin Harrison here in his 5th season, career catch number 400. First down. James. And that one stopped up pretty good by Tim Bowens, number 95. No gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 10. Saw one of the articles, and well pointed out too, that one of the reasons why those guys on the outside like Trace Armstrong and Jason Taylor have done so well this year is because of those guys on the inside like Tim Bowens and Darryl Gardner.
Well, you're right, Greg. The 2 inside guys, they stop the runs. This time you can see Haley gets in there too, but it allows freedom for the 2 pass rushers outside and the linebackers to run around.
12th play of this drive. That one batted down at the line of scrimmage, and that might have been Bowens who got a hand up and made a 2nd consecutive play.
You know, Greg, I was going to say, though, it's kind of funny. A couple plays ago, as you watched Peyton Manning's pass get knocked down, Marvin Harrison made a catch, his 5th of the day. And what's one of the big stories with the Colts offense? Marvin Harrison comes in the game with 84 catches, tremendous statistics, but he's not catching enough balls. And it's, I don't know what to say to that. The Colts look to him quite often. He makes a lot of catches, but he had such a terrific year last year that this year just doesn't seem the same to him, I guess.
3rd and 10. Manning throws. That is almost intercepted inside the 5-yard line by Brock Marion, who immediately punts. Brock Marion picked Peyton Manning off in the game between these two teams up in Indianapolis in about the same area of the field and almost did the same thing here.
Well, pressure on the quarterback makes the quarterback throw it quick. Peyton Manning had to let go of the football, almost caused a turnover.
So Vanderjagt, who kicked one earlier from 48 yards out, will try this one from 31 yards away. Out of the hold by Hunter Smith, the kick is away and it is good. 6:41 to play, third quarter. Colts took a chunk of time off with that drive and lead 20-3. I know you love Mike Vanderjagt's post-successful field goal ritual.
Yeah, watch this celebration. Boom. Oh, yes. Yeah, let me give it to you one more time. See, only a kicker could have a celebration mood like that. I said something to Jim Moore. I asked him about that little celebration once, and he goes, what? He didn't know, and he goes, oh, and Vanderjagt, he's a nut. Well, that explains it, but he's a good kicking nut.
Audrey Denson from the 8-yard line to the 20. And across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. 6:28 to play, 20-yard return. Jay Fiedler back to work on offense right after this. We remind you to log on to NFL.com. Vote for what you think were the greatest playoff games of all time. It's all at NFL.com. Colts back on defense. Miami to the attack. 6:28 to play in the third, and Fiedler to throw. Throws to the far side, has his man, and that is Oronde Gadsden. And Gadsden brought down. The clock continues to move, and as we were talking during the timeout, Phil, this kind of changes things now offensively for the Miami Dolphins.
Absolutely. You're 3 scores down, and that drive by the Indianapolis Colts took up over half of the third quarter. So you're probably only going to get the football 4 more times in the game. You got to score 3 of them. You got to be more aggressive in your play calling.
Line of scrimmage, the 33-yard line. Lamar Smith across the 35 for a first down, and we check in with Jim Nantz in New York. Jim.
All right, thank you, Greg. I think this one has some wide interest as Arizona takes the lead on Baltimore with the hookup to Frankie Sanders. Should Baltimore lose and Miami lose, Tennessee not only wins the Central, but home field throughout the AFC playoffs. Let's go back to you.
It's kind of like what we were talking about before. You can't trust anyone this time of the season, can you?
Anybody that has to win, it's just like they can't. And it's, we've said it too many times already. This league is very close to the talent levels.
Pass is complete. That's Weaver. Weaver 45-40 and inside the 40 to the 38, 37-yard line. Miami tried to go to him down at the goal line.
Well, there's pressure on Jay Fiedler. He gives Jed Weaver extra time to get across the middle. He hangs in there. He takes a nice shot. Cornelius Bennett gets to him, but you can see why they're splitting out Jed Weaver, trying to get matchups against Chad Cota. They think he can beat him on the pass routes.
Weaver flanked again to the far side, top of the screen. Play fake, quick flip, incomplete, intended for Lamar Smith. Smith threw a block, turned, and the pass was a bit overthrown.
Yeah, timing was off, but you can see Jay Fiedler just getting to throw a few footballs. He looks a little more comfortable. Made a couple good throws so far in the second half.
What really looks strange is still that right-handed handoff.
Oh. You know, that's hard to do. I've had to do that a few times in my career, and after you fumble it twice in practice during the week, it makes the whole team nervous.
Fiedler on 2nd and 10, short drop, now makes time for himself and throws down the sideline. Wide open is Tony Martin, and that's complete and out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Good job by Jay Fiedler finding his man downfield.
Well, that's something that they said has been lacking from Jay Fiedler the last few weeks. Not moving around and making plays down the field, throwing or moving around and running for some good yards. But that time he finds Tony Martin, who broke off his route, ran up the sideline, nobody there to cover him.
And dragging some toes to make sure it's a legitimate catch. First down from the 17. Fiedler goes for the end zone. It is incomplete, off the fingertips of Oronde Gadsden.
Well, Jay Fiedler wanted to go up top to Weaver. Instead, he comes down the bottom. Here's Arondé Gadsden, makes a nice move. He's actually almost double covered. He is open for the touchdown, but Jay Fiedler throws it too high.
Arondé Gadsden has figured prominently in games between these two teams. Caught the winning touchdown pass 3 weeks ago in Indianapolis, and then a year ago in Indianapolis caught the winning touchdown pass against the Colts from Dan Marino. Pass this side is complete and out of bounds. Tony Martin at the 10-yard line. Clock continues to move. 3:40 to play in the third. It'll be 3rd and 3.
That was a good throw that time by Jay Fiedler. That was the 4th time, just off the top of my head, that I've seen him throw the football to his left. That is the first time he's completed a pass and put it on target.
Fiedler with good numbers on this drive. And now Jed Weaver flanked to the near side of the field. He's the man in motion. Give is to Smith. Straight ahead to about the 7.
Well, that's a nice change up by the Miami Dolphins offense. I would not expect to run in that situation. Lamar Smith just plowed it up in there. Now Dave Wannstedt might have a tough decision.
Well, we're going to measure for a first down here.
Yeah, they're going to measure and say if it is just short, what do you do? A field goal puts you down 2 touchdowns. I think if they're short, he's going to go for it.
He is short.
And one of the reasons why he's short, just good hustle and good work by Bernard Holsey, number 79. Look, watch him come all the way across. You got to be thinking pass. You don't block the backside guy. He gets across, gets him by the legs, pulls him down, and stops him short. Boy, nice job by Holsey. Not going up the field thinking it's going to be a pass and going up to the quarterback, seeing the play, and then reacting properly.
4th and 1. Fiedler comes to the line with Lamar Smith and Rob Conrad in the backfield behind it.
I got it, Rob. Go ahead. I got it.
Smith makes the first down. Touchdown! Marker is down on the field.
I thought we might have a face mask at first. I saw Lamar Smith head.
The face mask is against the Colts, and it is refused.
Watch Lamar Smith. Boy, that's some good hard running. Chad Brasky got him around the helmet.
Phil, look at the left-handed handoff by Jay Fiedler.
He's got it down now, Greg. It's confusing the defense, you know, that left-handed handoff.
So Lamar Smith with his 12th rushing touchdown of the season.
There is no foul on the play. He did not grab the face mask. Touchdown.
Lamar Smith has 9 rushing touchdowns now in his last 8 games.
I'm sorry, Greg, just an impressive drive by the Dolphins. They had to get it done, and they did. They threw the football, and then 2 big runs by Lamar Smith on 3rd and 4th down.
Olindo Mare looking to cut the Indianapolis lead to 10. And it is good. The Miami Dolphins, with a chance to wrap up the AFC East title, move to within 10. You said Jay Fiedler looking more comfortable on that last drive, 4 out of 6 for 58 yards. Olindo Mare to kick it away. Terrence Wilkins deep for Indianapolis. And he'll start from the 2. Run out of bounds just short of the 15-yard line by Brian Walker. Terrific coverage by the Dolphins special teams, and here comes Peyton Manning. Sam Madison kind of epitomizing the way the Dolphins defense and the fans feel here as they try to rile the stadium to life, and it's alive.
I'd throw at him. He's got to be tired. He danced for about 3 minutes straight.
Peyton Manning's job now to try to claim some of that momentum back for the Colts. James. Room to run across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. Zach Thomas in on the stop.
Well, Zach Thomas's key that he had on Peyton Manning has been right all day. He went up and told everybody in the offensive line what the audible was going to be. He knew it was going to be a run, but they still couldn't stop him until he got six yards.
And I mentioned the Colts trying to regain that momentum. They have to do it from their worst starting field position of the day. 2nd and 4. James again. Dragged down at the 23. Derek Rogers with the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 2 when we come back after a check with Jim Nantz in New York. Jim.
All right, Greg, Arizona leading and driving at midfield, and Plummer is picked off by Jamie Sharper. He'll run it down close enough to set up a Jamal Lewis touchdown to put Baltimore back in front with 4 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim. The fans alive at Pro Player Stadium. 3rd and 2. Pulls it down, gonna run, sliding forward and gets the 1st down.
There were a lot of things the Miami Dolphins defense talked about this week. Stopping Edgerrin James when he runs, cover Marvin Harrison, do this, do that. But I guarantee you that defensive line never talked about staying in passing lanes and stop Peyton Manning from scrambling up the middle for some big 1st downs.
3 carries, 20 yards, and a touchdown for Manning. From the 29-yard line, 1st down. Play fake to James. Manning rolling, throwing, has his man close to the 40-yard line, Ken Dilger, and now the official says incomplete. That it hit the grass. Let's take a look.
Let's watch it. Good job. Ken Dilger stopped. Let the defense run by him. Slides for the catch.
Right there on the ground.
Nose of the ball hits the ground. It looks like it hits the ground before he has complete possession of the football.
Peyton Manning doing a little yelling on the sideline.
Well, they've got to do something. They got 10 seconds to go.
The play clock is down to 5.
Well, they're asking for a challenge. I guess that's what he wants. They're not going to like the results.
Indianapolis is challenged and ruling on the field that it is an incomplete pass.
Well, the only thing you can say is Jim Moore is getting bad information from upstairs.
Watch what happens. Dilger going across the field. You have to have total control.
There is no way that will be reversed and be called a complete pass.
Well, don't say no way.
Oh, I'm saying it.
I think
I'm saying it, Phil.
Well, you are stepping out. It's incomplete.
We have 31 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter, and well, you can understand Manning and the Colts wanting to get out from under the shadow of their own goalpost. But this one isn't going to do it, and they're going to lose a timeout in the process.
Well, Jim Moore was definitely swayed by Peyton Manning coming over there and just stating his case. He wanted a challenge thrown out there. He caught it.
He said he caught it.
I promise you. I'm sure he caught it. I promise.
You know,
I can read his lips. He says, I promise.
Peyton was very, very upbeat about this game today. He said that the Colts had one of their best weeks of practice this week, and they had a good sense of urgency, and said that they were really focused well.
Well, it's shown so far today, Greg. It didn't take long
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The tip of the ball hit the ground. The pass is incomplete. Indianapolis will be charged a timeout.
Well, the one thing that kind of gave it away, Ken Dilger got up and didn't really protest too hard. So that's the first thing I was looking at, watching his body language, and then Peyton Manning came in and was quite sure that he had called it.
So now the crowd comes alive again on 2nd and 10. Manning 0 for his last 3 pass attempts. Pass over the middle. Harrison wide open to the 39-yard line, and that appears to be enough for a first down.
Last year, the Indianapolis Colts scored a lot of points against this Dolphin defense down here, and one of the big plays they used was Marvin Harrison coming up underneath for passes just like that, and I didn't see it in the game up in Indianapolis, but they've used it well today here.
We have come to the end of the third quarter with the score: Indianapolis 20, Miami 10. Don't go away. We're coming back to Pro Player Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. First down, Indianapolis. From the 40, Edgerrin James, right side, looking for running room, breaks a couple of tackles, forward to about the 43 before Zach Thomas helps bring him to a halt after a 3-yard gain.
You know, that last play, Greg, look at right before the snap. You see that K? That's for the kickers. But somehow it got in there.
Well, what, does it have radar?
Well, I don't know. Doesn't have anything.
Air in. 26 runs, 26 passes. 2nd and 7. Play fake, throws, far side, Marcus Pollard. Pollard diving for first down yardage and comes up a little close. Patrick Surtain with the stop. It'll be 3rd and 1. What's at stake here? Well, Miami and Indianapolis, along with the New York Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers, aspiring for a playoff spot.
They're not out of it.
And the Miami Dolphins, with a victory here, can claim the AFC East title. 3rd and 1. James didn't get there. Tim Bowens. We talked earlier about all the glory that Jason Taylor and Trace Armstrong and those DBs have garnered, but what about those big guys in the middle?
Just gets off his block, 3rd and short. Big play by Tim Bowens. You give Indianapolis 3 more shots after this first down, and you'd have to think they might score some points, Bo. So the inside run stopper, Tim Bowens, does his job.
That's twice today. Edgerrin James has been stopped on 3rd and 1. Ogden at his own 10-yard line awaits the punt. Makes the catch at the 14-yard line and is dropped immediately by Dave Macklin. 37-yard punt and no return. 12:50 to play in the fourth quarter. Colts on defense. Along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan, Greg Gumbel, Pro Player Stadium. 12:50 to play here in the fourth quarter. Indianapolis leading Miami 20-10. Jay Fiedler, 9 of 16 for 104 yards. That's Weaver in motion. The handoff is to Lamar Smith. Ahead to about the 17-yard line. You know, Fiedler, he continues to be an amazing story when you consider, Phil, this is a quarterback who was in a sling on Monday and Tuesday to immobilize that left arm and shoulder.
Well, you know what, Greg? He's showing that he knows how to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League, and I've heard it many times from coaches. It's going to be rough, and you got to line it up every week for the consistency of your team, and you got to play hurt. Showed a lot of courage this week and really battling after having a tough week last week, throwing 4 interceptions.
Straight drop, creates a little time, takes off, 25, 30, 47-yard line. Huge gain of 29 yards and a first down for Miami.
What he did, he caught the Colts. Everybody outside covering the receivers man-to-man. So their backs are to Jay Fiedler. The only people that can stop him are the 4 defensive linemen. Look, nobody's around. Everybody covering the receiver down the field. And Dave Weinstead had said, we're not seeing as much running and playmaking by him moving around. Well, today that's twice he has run or moved around and made a big pass play.
From the 45. Lamar Smith out to the 49-yard line.
See what happens with an injury like Jay Fiedler has. It's his left rotator cuff. It bothers him at the beginning of the game, getting hit and all the handoffs and the mechanics of the game. But really, once it goes on, you just get used to it. You learn to deal with the pain. I know you can't relate to that, Greg, dealing with some pain. But he's dealing with it, and it's just now, I guarantee you, the second half, he hasn't even thought about that shoulder. It just seems natural to play with it a little restricted.
2nd and 7. Smith, right side, running room. First down yardage to the 43-yard line. Chad Cota made the stop after an 8-yard pickup. Again, another right-handed handoff by Fiedler, and I'm really surprised that down at the other end of the field in the last quarter, it was a left-handed handoff when he needed it most.
Well, it's a good job, and I thought maybe Lamar Smith would not be part of this game when they were down 20-3, but good play calling by Chan Gailey, still mixing it up and letting his running back still be part of the game.
Fiedler, pump fake, throws down the sideline. It is incomplete. Mustafa Muhammad there defending against Oronde Gadsden.
Well, it's a nice fake by Jay Fiedler. He gives a fake down the middle of the field, trying to get Muhammad to come inside. Boy, good job. Doesn't go for the fake. And look at Oronde Gadsden. He puts Michael Irvin to shame. He knows how to push and go over people. Almost comes up with a catch.
Look at the mileage that Miami's offense has piled up its last 3 possessions. 43 yards all on the ground on this possession. Fiedler dragged down at the 50-yard line. Mark Thomas. His 4th of the season, a loss of 6.
Boy, tremendous protection that time, and Jay Fiedler just holds on to the football too long. You know, you got things going your way. Do not get a negative play to stop the drive, and Mark Thomas keeps hustling. Fiedler steps up, not able to get away.
He beat the rookie right tackle Todd Wade, and now Fiedler looks at a 3rd and 16 and will operate out of the shotgun. Fiedler down again, and again Mark Thomas.
Boy, nice job by Mark Thomas that time. Of course, he knew they were going to throw the football. Watch him on the outside. Top of your screen, coming around. Boy, no chance for Fiedler that time. That was a big stop by this Colts defense to slow down Miami's offense.
Turk kicks it away. Terrence Wilkins with the fair catch at the 25-yard line. 9:09 to play, and Mark Thomas has given the Colts. There is a look at Mark Thomas on the sideline and back out on the field. The offense of the Indianapolis Colts, their 3rd possession of this half. Their first drive took 8:19, the second 4:53, and the Dolphin defense needs a 3-and-out somewhere around here. Edgerrin James. Not much there at all. Darrell Gardner, Zach Thomas combined to stop him after a 1-yard gain.
You said it, Greg. They need a 3-and-out right here, because you let the Indianapolis Colts get, like, let's just say 2 first downs. That would take the game clock down inside to about the 4-minute mark. The Dolphins will need 2 possessions to think about tying this game.
2nd and 9 from the 26. Play fake, and Manning goes down. Jason Taylor with sack number 14 and a half on the season.
He was not even thinking about the run that time. Jason Taylor told me weeks ago on the outside coming up, he says, I never play the run. Every play is a pass to me. He goes up the field. That's why he doesn't go for the fake by Peyton Manning.
We were just talking during the last break, Phil, about how the Dolphins have not really been able to get any pressure on Peyton Manning so far today. 3rd and 20. Quick flip to Dilger. Dilger, 20 to the 24-yard line. And what did we say about the Dolphin defense needing a 3 and out?
Well, it was a good job. It really what it was, Greg. It's just a player. They played right into the strength of Miami's defense. Jason Taylor loves to come up the field. He is not going to be fooled by play action. He gets the sack. That's why they get him 3 and out.
Hunter Smith has had 3 punts so far tonight, and all have pinned Miami inside its 20-yard line. That won't happen here. He gets off a boomer, though. And the fair catch called for at the 37-yard line by Jeff Ogden, and again, nobody around. Ogden, no return. Sam Madison wants to pump up the Miami fans again. 7:08 to play in the 4th quarter, and Miami with its best starting field position of the game, their own 39-yard line. That's Jed Weaver in motion. Fiedler throws down the middle, has his man wide open. Tony Martin across midfield, 1st down Miami. That one good for 13 yards.
And he's wide open down the field. Watch the middle. The safeties are on the outside trying to stop the big plays. Nobody on the inside. No linebacker in the way between Jay Fiedler and Tony Martin. The Dolphin receivers couldn't get open in the 1st quarter. Now it looks like nobody's covering them sometimes when they go down the field.
He gives to Lamar Smith, trying to bounce it to the outside, still on his feet, and forward to about the 46-yard line. Pickup of 2. And it'll be 2nd and 8, and a little jawing going on between Lamar Smith and Mike Peterson, number 52.
Yeah, the Dolphins, they have to be quick. You got to get the play. You got to definitely have a sense of urgency. Save yourself 5 or 6 seconds. Get it, call it, get to the line of scrimmage, and snap the ball as fast as you can.
Second and 8, here comes the blitz. Weaver gets rid of it, slant, complete, 35. And inside the 30 is Oronde Gadsden for a 1st down. That one good for 17 yards.
Well, that time, here comes the blitz up the middle. The timing is not very good. Tony Blevins on the safety blitz. Look at Oronde Gadsden, a big receiver, hard to bring down in the open field.
Jay Fiedler definitely finding a rhythm, and now the give to Smith on the draw, to the 25, to the 22. That, I think, is what you call a bruising run.
I don't think Lamar Smith knows any other type of runs. He's not the type of runner, as you look at Jay Fiedler's stats, that's going to run around anybody. He's only got one way to get an extra couple yards. It's to run through you and to fall forward.
It's right up your chest. 21 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown so far. Smith again tries the left side, looking for the 1st down, and appears to be right at the 1st down marker.
You got a little over 4 minutes now as you look at the clock. The Dolphins are in field goal range. They need a field goal and a touchdown. I think right here is when you take your shot. You try to score this play. Save time. Maybe you catch the Colts defense a little off guard. And since you're on about the 19-yard line, they have to defend more space, you got a better chance of scoring from here.
On the roll, Fiedler looks, and runs out of bounds. So he runs out of bounds at about the 19-yard line, pretty close to the line of scrimmage, but we'll call it a loss of 1, 2nd and 11.
Chan Gailey calling the plays. That time, I think it must have been a screen inside, because when Jay Fiedler scrambled out of the pocket, not one receiver looked at him. They were all down the field blocking. So the Colts defense snuffed out the screen, and no place for Jay Fiedler to go.
2nd and 11. Fiedler falls down, picks himself up. On the run, tries to get rid of it, and it's incomplete. But he took a hit from Brad Scioli. It'll be 3rd and 11.
Well, watch what happens to Jay Fiedler. Gets tripped up, he falls down. When he gets up, 2 important things. One, he's got to get outside the tight end box, which he does. And then, he's almost fortunate that he was under pressure. I don't even know if he can get the football past the line of scrimmage when he lets it go. But since he's hit, that's not part of the equation.
3rd and 11. 4 wide receivers. To give us to Autry Denson. Denson, 15, and he stood up there, falls forward to the 14 or 13-yard line. Jason Belzer and Marcus Washington combined for the tackle after a 6-yard pickup, and here comes Olindo Mare and the rest of the field goal unit for Miami.
Well, they're trying to catch the Colt defense off guard, of course, with the draw, but what they really want to do is secure the field goal and give themselves one chance to try to tie this football game up if they get the ball back.
This one will be from 31 yards out, and Mare's kick is perfect. 3:25 to play. Miami pulls to within a touchdown. It's 20-13 Indy. Comes 2 blimps. This one is named Trump and is based on the East Coast. A lot of good hands up front in case of an onside kick, but the kick goes into and out of the end zone, and so the Colts will begin on their own 20-yard line. 3:18 to play. Peyton Manning trying to lock this one down for Indianapolis. Gerald Gardner leading the cheers on the field, and the fans in the stands follow suit. First down, Indianapolis from their own 20. 3:18 to play. Edgerrin James dips to the left, dips again. To the 23, to the 24, and here's a penalty marker flying in to stop the clock. Derek Rogers made the tackle. Those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the game between the Indianapolis Colts and the Miami Dolphins. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan. 20-13. The Colts lead the Dolphins. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. What's at stake? If Miami wins, they claim the AFC East, eliminate the Indianapolis Colts, and the last playoff spot will come down to either the New York Jets or the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Colts ahead by a touchdown and fighting to stay alive in the race for the postseason. 1st and 16. James staying in bounds just across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Picked up 2. It'll be 2nd and 14, and we're under 3 minutes to play, and now a timeout on the field called by the Dolphins, and they have 2 remaining.
Well, it's an awful tough spot. Miami with that holding call, everything goes to their side. Indianapolis, of course, Peyton Manning knows this. The coaches know it. They're ahead 7 points. Make Miami, no matter what happens, make Miami come down the field, score a touchdown to tie you. Do not give them any help by taking an unwanted chance in this situation. And this is really I always found this as a quarterback, and I think all quarterbacks do, find it a tough spot to be in because you go back and you want the receiver to be wide open before you throw it, and you know in this league that very seldom happens.
Well, you know you want to take time off the clock here, Phil. But do you run it here, or do you maybe take a bit of a shot throwing the football so that you don't put yourself in an obvious 3rd and long and passing?
If you throw it, it's play action. It's very short. That's what I would think they do, but I think they're going to run it right here.
James following Dilger, left side, cuts, 20, 25, 26-yard line. And a timeout is called by Miami. They'll have 1 left. It stops the clock with 2:50 to play. And meanwhile, the Colts are looking at a 3rd and 4.
And what does Miami do? They bring Ken Dilger in the backfield. They have some misdirection. That plus Edgerrin James breaks the tackle of Sam Madison and picks up some good yards. And, you know, that's what you do. Miami's playing the run. You play off. You take advantage of the fact that they're going to be aggressive. You run a counter play, and you pick up a nice game.
Edgerrin James with his 8th 100-yard rushing game of the season, the 18th of his very short career.
He gets more 100-yard games when you think, well, how many did Edgerrin have today? About 50 or 60 yards. Then you see the final stats. You don't, 20 carries for 108 yards or whatever. It's always more than you think.
Jason Taylor now exhorting the crowd. 3rd and 4.
They've run the draw play many times out of this situation. 4 wide receivers.
Manning with plenty of time on the play clock. There's the draw. Nowhere. Tim Bowens.
It's a good call by the Colts offense, but Miami has seen it too many times today. Tim Bowens, not a pass rusher. He's just sitting there waiting, and man, can he deliver a blow. Look at him. About 330 pounds. Edgerrin James cannot get away from him.
Edgerrin James at 6 foot 215. Not much of a match for him. Dolphins have used their 3rd and final timeout.
You know, Greg, I think the Colts, they called it exactly like they were supposed to. That's how, if you say, well, play it by the book. That's what they did. They played it conservative. They got a very talented running back. You give it to him, hope he can break a tackle, pick up a 1st down, and end the game. But the Dolphins were ready for it.
O.J. McDuffie has joined Jeff Ogden deep for the punt from Hunter Smith. This will be the most important punt Smith has delivered all day. He needs some mileage on this one. Ogden from the 32. Dragged down to the 35-yard line. David Macklin, the rookie out of Penn State, after a 2-yard return. And let's go to Jim Nance in New York. Jim.
An amazing achievement today. Jerry Rice's final home game as a 49er. He had 7 catches, but he passed the torch to Terrell Owens. He breaks a 50-year NFL record with 20 catches, breaking Tom Fear's mark of 18 from back in 1950, leading the 49ers to victory. Back to Greg and Phil.
2:34 to play. The Dolphins at their own 35-yard line. They have 65 yards to cover and no timeouts.
Almost the exact same position they got it up in Indianapolis. I think up in Indianapolis they got it at the 31-yard line, just guessing. Right now at the 35-yard line. The difference, a touchdown to tie instead of win.
As you saw, 60 Minutes follows in its entirety immediately after this game, except on the West Coast. Fiedler from the shotgun, throwing, incomplete. 37 Chad Cota, just a couple of yards shy of a possible interception. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, I can hear somebody in the sideline yell at the receiver, Bert Emanuel, don't fall down. He is wide open. He slips. Jay Fiedler throws it over his head.
The last 3 games between these teams have been decided by 3 points. Benson out on the pass pattern. Fiedler throws far side, incomplete. Rondé Gadsden had a hand on it, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, they got to send somebody to the middle of the field. The Colts are going to play. They're going to put their safeties wide to stop the big plays down the sideline. The middle of the field is open, so a receiver running across to the middle or somebody going straight down it should be open.
The Miami Dolphins just successful twice in 13 tries on 3rd down tonight.
And the Colts are playing the exact same defense they did the play before.
They need the 45-yard line for a 1st down. Fiedler throwing down the middle. Intercepted by Burris. Jeff Burris picks it off, and he is down at the 35-yard line.
Well, Jay Fiedler knew the place to go, but the problem was good coverage by Jeff Burris and pressure on the quarterback. That makes Jay Fiedler throw it up too high and soft. But look at Jeff Burris. Good job knowing the situation. Why would you want to go for a 7-yard fake? Play it down the field. He does, and a terrific catch.
Phil, what did we talk with Chad Bratsky about last night? The offensive trio of Manning, Harrison, and Edgerrin James gets so much of the credit for the Colts' success. And we asked Chad, are you a little tired of every time something goes wrong, people blame the Colt defense? And he said, yeah, we're a little tired of hearing it.
You know, it's good to hear one of them finally admit it, because anytime the Colts lose, it's going to be because of the defense in the eyes of the media and the fans. And a lot of times that is true, but they have played extremely well to keep this team alive the last 2 weeks.
Trying to run out the clock, Edgerrin James to the 40, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Jay Fiedler beset by 4th quarter turnovers last week and has thrown an interception here. We come to 2 minutes to play. 20-13, Indy.
Cornelius Bennett last night, and he's played so hard, played hurt this year, and rounded in form as the year has gone along. He says the thing that makes him proud about the Colts, everybody picked them to do so well, but what makes him proud is the fact that there was never any finger pointing. And when you got a team with high expectations and something goes wrong, generally that's what will happen. Well, it's not my fault. Look to the other side, it's their fault. And the Colts have not done that, so Cornelius Bennett very proud of that fact.
James to about the 43. And by the way, Cornelius Bennett playing with a broken bone in his right hand. And we marveled at the amount of playing time he's been able to garner in his career. And he's been playing on artificial turf all his life.
Basically his whole football life. High school, college, and all the teams he has played for in the pros have played on AstroTurf. And he goes, yep, my knees are holding up. They might hurt in 10 years, but right now they're still feeling pretty good.
Jeff Ogden at his own 10-yard line. The clock continues to move, 40 seconds to play.
Well, Miami losing a tough game last week. Today they were outplayed by the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I think they felt a little pressure this week, but now the pressure next week going up to play New England could be bad weather. Not an easy win.
Indianapolis let the clock wind down to just 1 second before they used their second timeout. AFC playoff picture. This is still with this game undecided, but Indianapolis very much in charge. They survive with a win here tonight. Miami, the Jets, Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh would all go into the final season alive for the postseason.
Right now, Miami, the Jets, and Indianapolis all have a chance to still win the AFC East. Am I right?
And either of those teams can also miss the postseason.
I'm right. Okay.
Hunter Smith kicks it away. And at the 23-yard line, Ogden fair catches after the 33-yard punt. 24 seconds, all that's left on the clock.
Couple things, too, about today's game. The Indianapolis Colts, the minor changes they made in their offense, I think were the difference. Some of the short play actions, the draw plays with 4 wide receivers. Peyton Manning running with the football was huge, scoring that one touchdown, and that's what you have to do. You have to be creative when you play Miami's defense because it's too good just to line up and physically beat.
Peyton Manning over 4,000 yards for the second consecutive season.
And those are tremendous stats against Miami's pass defense, 21 of 28.
Fiedler gonna put it up in the air. And coming down with it, the Colts say it's an interception. The officials have not ruled anything yet, and now they say incomplete. 14 seconds to play. 2nd and 10.
How could you tell what that was? There was so many players, but that's a good way to throw the Hail Mary down the middle so you can get every wide receiver to the middle of the field, hope for a tip ball.
I was waiting for someone to call the infield fly rule. 2nd and 10. That would be a baseball term.
I understand. You don't have to explain it to me.
Okay. Fiedler throws far side. It is caught. And Arondé Gadsden trying to break away. He does break away for a first down. The clock is down to 3 to 2 to 1, and that is it. The final score, Indianapolis over the Miami Dolphins to stay alive in the postseason race, 20 to 13. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes comes your way. If you love the people Tom Hanks plays in the movies, wait till you see him playing himself. An early Christmas present from 60 Minutes tonight, followed by an all-new episode of Touched by an Angel. Then Emmy Award winners Richard Thomas and Beau Bridges star in the heartwarming new holiday movie, The Christmas Secret. It's all here. Don't miss it tonight on CBS. Well, guess what? The playoff race is going to come down to the final week of the regular season. Don't miss any of it here on CBS.